That's cool. You think of some brands, maybe like a Blockbuster, that could have used some of this insight to help with some strategy at some essential times, which, being such a huge company, how do you quantify that? How do you measure the value of the brand? I mean, Blockbuster is an interesting example. Blockbuster and Netflix, I mean, it was just overnight, one became the other. But if I'm not one of these giant brands, or I don't have a disruptor like a Netflix or an Uber or an Airbnb changing my industry, how do I measure the value of my brand?
Yeah, that's a great question. We get asked all the time. And, as I mentioned, it's kind of like this fuzzy thing that's different, and there are some, there are brand valuation lists out there. I think Interbrand's one of the ones that is the most popular. You can go download for free and see like the world's most 100 valuable brands, and they have a whole way of doing it. But I think, for companies that are maybe a little smaller, not going to be on the Interbrand list or something like that, there's basically 5 ways that you can measure the value. And I think the first and most important is a price premium, right? Like, how do we get the highest price possible for our products or services? Like, only one competitor in any given market can be the cheapest. For all the rest, there's branding. Like, only one person can play the price game. Who doesn't want to command a higher price? Who doesn't want to get more for their products and services? So that's number one. Customer preference, right? Like, so are you preferred X amount of percentage over the competitor? Like, are you the leader in the category? Typically that's branding. Coca-Cola, they have a customer preference model where most people prefer Coke. Is it better than Pepsi? We can argue that, but it's their competitors, and there you go. Tesla, right? They're the customer preference for cars, for electric vehicles, I'm sorry. Replacement costs. I love this one because you and I are always kind of thinking about different businesses. We're spinning up different businesses. So how much would it cost the brand to build it again from scratch? Like to get to where you are today. And so if you think about any established, could you build an Airstream from scratch today? People are trying every day. There's competitors every day. I don't know what it costs, but I'm thinking it's billions, So when you're thinking about buying or selling a brand, this can also really be applicable. For bigger companies, stock price. So as I mentioned, we are, most of the stock market, especially what we're seeing today, is all based on a shared vision of what we think the brand is going to do in the future, not what the actual value is. It's crazy, like you look at like the market cap of so many different brands, and then future earnings. This becomes real with valuation. If you have a company value your business, like what kind of multiple are you getting based on what they think your brand, the brand value is of your company. So those are 5 ways that you can easily measure brand value. And that is a direct reflection of your brand. There's a lot of other studies too, where they, for bigger companies like Coca-Cola, for like a Tesla, they actually would say what the market cap would be without the brand influence and impact, and what it is with the brand. And you can, we can, link to those, or you can look for those on the internet, but those are pretty interesting too. But again, I'm not a Tesla owner in terms of I don't own the company, so it doesn't, that doesn't affect me as much as some of these others.
Interesting. The replacement cost, I love having this different lens than just looking at a multiplier of EBITDA, right? Based on your industry. So super, super interesting, man.